Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please join us today in the study of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Today we'll be studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10th Canto, chapter 71. The Lord travels to Indraprastha. And so, early we will do first Jai Radha Madhav prayers, followed by reading a couple of verses, and then we'll be diving into the gist of the chapter, 3 important lessons that we can learn, which can further have many other lessons. So because of the time, we'll focus on 3 lessons and we'll be covering various aspects. Also covering Candy acronym, and once we finish the chapter study, we will do more Harinam. So welcome and let's get started. Hare Krishna, please join us for Jai Radha Madhav prayers. Jai Radha So today we'll be studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10th Canto, chapter 71. The Lord travels to Indraprastha. Please join us for Mangalancharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayam Udiryet
Tato Jayamudiryet
Shravtam Swakatha Krishna
Shravtam Sakatha Krishna
Punya Shamana Kirtanaha
Punya Shamana Kirtana
Hridayantasto Bhadrani
Hridayantastoya Bhadrani
Vidunoti Suhasatam
Vidunoti Sahratsatam
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttam Shloke
Bhagavati Uttam Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavti Nashtiki
Bhaktir Bhavti Nashtiki
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna.
please join us in the recitation of first two verses, and then we will be again paying obeisances to our spiritual master and directly dive into the gist of the chapter with various lessons, and also cover candy as how you can, get the taste of candy to increase your devotional service. The attitude with love and gratitude, okay, and increase that some of the things that have been experienced and also instructed by the acharyas. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 71, verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Shukavacha
Ityaudirtam Marakarnyam
Ityodiritam Akarnya
Devashiruddhavo Bravit
Devarshiruddhavo Bravit
Sabhyanamatam Agyaya
Sabhyanam Matamagyaya
Krishnasya cha Mahamatihi.
Krishnasya cha Mahamati.
Please.
Shri Shukavacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Iti Udiritam Akarnya
Ityaudirtam Akarnya
Devarshiruddhavo Bravit
Devashiruddhavo Abravit
Sabhyanam Matam Agyanya
Sabhyanam Matam Agyaya
Krishnasya cha Mahamati.
Krishnasya cha Mahamatihi. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shuk Uvacha.
Shri Shukdev Goswami said,
Shri Shukdev Goswami said,
Iti,
Iti
thus, Udiritam,
Udiritam,
that which was stated,
that which was stated,
Akarnya,
Akarnya,
hearing,
hearing,
Devarishe,
Devarishe,
by Narad,
by Narad,
the sage of the demigods,
the sage of the demigods,
Uddhavaha,
Uddhava,
Uddhav,
Uddhav,
Abravit,
Ablavi,
spoke, Sabhyanam,
Sabhyanam,
of the members of the Royal Assembly,
of the members of the Royal Assembly,
Matam,
Matam,
the opinion, Agyaya,
Agyaya,
understanding,
understanding,
Krishnasya,
Krishnasya,
of Lord Krishna,
Cha,
and Mahamatihi,
Mahamati,
great-minded.
great-minded.
Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, having thus heard the statements of Devarshi Narad, and understanding the opinions of both the assembly and Lord Krishna, the great-minded Uddhav began to speak. There is no purpose, we'll cover the next verse. Shri Uddhav said, O Lord, as the sage advised, you should help your cousin fulfill his plan for performing the Rajasuya sacrifice, and you should also protect the kings who are begging for your shelter. Purport. Devarshi Narad wanted Lord Krishna to go to Indraprastha and help his cousin Yudhishthir perform the Rajasuya sacrifice. At the same time, the members of the royal assembly strongly desired that he defeat Jarasandha and rescue the kings he was holding prisoner. The great-minded Uddhav could understand that Lord Krishna desired to do both things. And thus he intelligently advised how both these purposes could be simultaneously accomplished. Hare Krishna. So let's pray our prayers to the spiritual masters. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshitarine Om Ajnana Timurandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatadaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. And then to the spiritual master, would like to request blessings from my spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, Srila Bhagavad, and also from my instructing spiritual masters, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami and Romapal Swami. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So here, wonderful lessons are given. So the gist of the chapter is Lord Krishna in the previous chapter. So Shukdev Goswami is speaking Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, who has been fasting for 7 days. And Sutta Goswami is in this assembly hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from Shukdev Goswami. So when he goes to Naimisharanya, he speaks the whole Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that he heard just once by hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He remembers it and repeats the whole Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam at Naimisharanya in the assembly of sages, and their spokesperson is Shaunaka Rishi, who is asking various questions. And here Shukdev Goswami is narrating this wonderful incident when he was describing the daily activities of Lord Krishna. He got distracted by this pastime which actually happened much later. But he is remembering that pastime, finding it just appropriate, as how Lord is carrying out his wonderful pastimes as protecting and interacting in loving exchanges with his devotees, annihilating the demons and reestablishing religion. So those are the three motives Lord Krishna appears again and again, millennium after millennium. So here, Shukdev Goswami is continuing from where the previous chapter ended. Where, what had happened in the previous chapter? In the assembly, a messenger, he had a message from the 20,000 some kings who were imprisoned by Jarasandha, the king of Magad. And so the messenger had this message that all these kings are seeking your shelter. They are devoted to you, they are your devotees, and please, they have taken your shelter, so please free them from this state. Right after this messenger passes on this message, and all the assembly members, all the courtesans, everyone is, feeling ready to have this battle. So Kshatriya Bhava is, the mode of passion is kicking in all the members of the assembly hall. And what happens right next is Devarshi Narad, he comes. Now, Sudharma assembly hall, we talked about it. One cannot be deluded, right? That's one of the things. So there are 6 kind of material pangs they don't affect in Sudharma hall. One does not feel hunger, one does not feel thirst, one does not get deluded, one does not feel lethargy, and there is no fear of old age and death. And I understand that in India and in Eastern countries, today they are observing Ekadashi, Yogini Ekadashi. So, all glories to you and all glories to Yogini Ekadashi. It is a wonderful Ekadashi in Western countries, including US. This occurred yesterday, and today was the fast breaking. So because sun rises and sets differently in different states because of the time factor, the timings of these tithi, Madhav tithi, is different. So here, continuing on this particular topic, Lord Krishna, understanding that everyone in the assembly is more eager to attack the king of Magad. They want to march towards Magad. Yet at the same time, Lord Krishna is more, inclined to go to Indraprastha. So understanding both motives, he is actually asking Uddhav, calling him his confidential advisor and friend, and a highly elevated person, because Uddhav is a disciple of Brihaspati. So again, a student is very well known by who is his guru. And when a student follows on the instruction of guru, then the student becomes glorious. And all the activities that the student gets is basically by the mercy of guru. So Srila Prabhupada exemplifies with his own life. Every time people were chanting glories, all the devotees were chanting Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was very nicely chanting Jai Prabhupada, giving all the glories to his spiritual master. So whatever we do is by the mercy of our spiritual master. And many times when he was glorified, he would actually pass on and he would praise, saying that these boys and girls who have been sent to me by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, my own spiritual master, these boys have been sent to me by my Guru Maharaj. And these boys are performing all these wonderful activities. And then we also know Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they also glorify. Mukund Maharaj, in his writings, he is describing that Srila Prabhupada would give them the vision. So acharyas, they can see in the future, far in the future. And so Srila Prabhupada's vision has been to spread this knowledge across the world. And it is such a simple task. He makes it sound so easy that only if 2% of the population becomes Krishna conscious, then this whole planet will become Vaikuntha. So all we have to do is start with ourselves. How can we become Krishna conscious, and how can we continue to go deeper in the philosophy so that we can start to understand, and grow our faith stronger and seek shelter of Lord Krishna day and night. So that is our motive, to just remember Krishna, always remembering him 24 hours a day by engaging different kind of activities. So we'll be touching on some of those topics as well. So the first one is Lord Krishna expresses this to Uddhav. So this is lesson number 1, where Lord Krishna is showing by his example that even he, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is showing that one should take help of an advisor, someone who can provide that insight. And of course, he is the most intelligent, right? Lord Krishna is a definition given by Parashar Muni. He is the most intelligent, most famous, most opulent, most renowned, and strongest of all. Yet at the same time, he is showing by his example that a Kshatriya or a king and administrator should also have good advisors to help them in the process. And Uddhav is taking it as a service from Lord Krishna. So service is a privilege. Devotional service is a privilege. Sometimes people talk about human rights, right? Because that's a right. All men are born equal. And of course, in the Shastra it is said, Kala Shudra Sambhava. In the Kali age, everyone is born as Shudra. So we actually start on the same platform, and then based on our nature and our activities, we adjust ourselves in different varnas, in different categories, whether become an administrator or a teacher, a scholar, or we could become a trader, a merchant person, or take care of the cows, take to farming, or we could be just serving other living entities, other human beings in the first three categories. Srila Prabhupada felt that there is a need of Brahmanas in the society, so he was focused on Brahmanas, but making people Brahmana, the top class, Yet at the same time, he had this vision that all the Varnashram dharma should be established, because that would create the right balance. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that one who has a nature, so according to one's nature and activities, one should engage in specific Varna. Not try to take another Varna's activities, because even though it may be very interesting and very lucrative, but and one could be successful, but there would not be any progress spiritually. So it is very important for us to learn from that as well. Now here, Lord Krishna himself is showing this example. So why is he doing this? Because Lord Krishna is exemplifying, as a human being, as a Kshatriya is appearing, So he is carrying his human-like activities, but he is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. We all know that man is made in the image of God. So from that perspective, Lord's two-arm form of Shyam Sundar is the original form. And here, Lord Krishna is giving this instruction to Uddhav that please, advise us. Now, even great kings and scholars have advisors, right? So cabinet ministers are there, they are constantly advising the presidents. There is always this council is there. Even the great sportsperson, sportsmen, they have coaches to help them coach through, to help them get to that next level, constantly improving. So that is where we should learn that from practical example, in material life, everyone is constantly looking to have someone coach them, get to that next level. And in spiritual journey, we have the shelter of our spiritual master. That's why it is said that one should accept a bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic succession so that one continues to progress. Yet at the same time, we cannot always be in the association of our spiritual master. So we, take the shelter of Vani, Guru Vani. So again, Vapu Seva or Vani Seva, there are two ways to do it. We can either serve the physical body of our spiritual master, or we can carry out by serving his instructions, our service to him. So this is where we carry out these instructions, following the instructions, and so nicely we can continue to make progress. Yet at the same time, devotee association is very much advised. And it is also very important for us to have association of advanced devotees, because then they can guide us. They can tell us what is right, what is wrong. Now this reminds me of a case where Akbar, he had an advice, he had this Ratnas, Navratnas, right? And one of them is Birbal. And he is his main advisor. So many times the various ministers in his assembly hall, they were always thinking, why is Akbar always, promoting Vikram, always appreciating? He's not that intelligent, we are very intelligent as well. So they would look from that perspective. But intelligence is something, an attribute we get from Lord Krishna. And we should continue to endeavor to sharpen our intelligence. It's not that when Lord will provide, then we will go it. That's like saying, stay inside a house in a dark room and saying, well, the sun is not here, so I don't feel the sun. Well, Lord Krishna is there. He's like the sun, right? While we are staying in the darkness, that is ignorance, that is Maya, the influence of Maya. When we walk out of our room into the bright, sunny, morning, outside the room, it's all bright. So as we walk out, we see the sun shining outside. Yet in the beginning, again, this is from the devotional services perspective, people have this mindset that it is too dark in the in the early stages. And it seems that people are getting good progress, but afterwards they stagnate. They don't make as much progress. There are various reasons we'll be discussing as well. So in this case, as Akbar is seeing that all these different members, the different ministers and other so-called advisors, they are feeling jealous of Birbal. So he says, okay, if you want a competition, ask you guys to do the same thing, and whoever gets the result to me, I will reward him and make him, give him Birbal's position. Everyone is anxious. Yes, this is an opportunity to prove ourselves. So here, everyone is looking to prove themselves. And Akbar gives them this riddle. He asks his favorite elephant to be brought out from the stable. So his favorite elephant is brought out. He says, you have to just tell me what's the weight of this elephant. Then they are looking at this gigantic elephant. And they're like, there's no weight to measure this elephant. How are we going to measure this elephant? So they are looking at Akbar and they are looking at this elephant and they are like perplexed. How do we find out what's the weight of this elephant? Then Akbar calls Birbal. He says, Birbal, come here. I have a task for you. Birbal says, yes, Jahanpana, what is it? Akbar says, I want you to find out the weight of this elephant. Birbal thinks for a while. He says, sure. Can I take the elephant with me? He says, sure, take the elephant. So Birbal takes the elephant, and after some time he comes back and says, this elephant's weight is 8,326 kgs. Now everyone is shocked. How did you find out? And they're like saying, Jahanpana, Akbar, he is just faking it. He doesn't know. So Akbar asked Birbal, so did you measure it? Did you weigh it? Then Birbal says, of course I did, but not in a general way, because there is no machine. There is no weighing machine that I can weigh as heavy a weight as an elephant. Then Akbar says, how did you weigh it? So Birbal says, what all I did was, I went to a boat in the river, a big large boat, and first I marked where the water was. Then I had elephant get onto the boat, and as the boat came down in the water, I marked that spot with a chalk, and then I got the elephant off the boat, and I kept adding weight onto the boat till it reached that mark. And once it reached the mark, I knew that weight on the boat equals the weight of the elephant. So all I did was counted those weights, and that's what is the weight of this elephant, 8,326 kgs. Everyone is shocked, dumbfounded. So here the lesson is that sometimes we may be in this case that we may not know the solution, but it's always good to have a coach, an advisor, a mentor, a devotee who can constantly, we can have conversation and inquiry about the matters that we do not understand. This enables us to go a step further in our spiritual progress, come to the next level. We have faith, let's build stronger faith. Let's grow stronger. Let's get more near to Lord Krishna. Coming near to Lord Krishna reminds me of another story, which is very important, because as we come near to Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada used to give this example that Lord Krishna is like fire, like sun god, right? We say Krishna Surya Sama. So again, Krishna is like sun. So if we go in this body to sun, we will burn out. So what is important? To be able to go to sun, we have to become like fire. So Srila Prabhupada used to give this example where, if you put an iron rod, if we're living entity are an iron rod, then this iron rod is put in touch with fire. Then in short time, the iron rod becomes red hot. And you touch it anywhere, it becomes like fire. So that's what happens when we are in direct touch with Krishna. His qualities wash up on us and we become godly. We automatically, as we stay engaged in devotional service, constantly enabling us. That's why Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you cannot think of me 24 hours a day, but you should then, the next level is engage in sadhana bhakti, engage in devotional service, the practice of devotional service. So we should continue to practice, then it becomes second nature. And yet at the same time, second nature should not become too familiar, because then we don't have the respect for devotional service or Lord Krishna and the spiritual master. And then offenses occur. And soon we retreat back. We don't want to be in that state. We don't want to, commit any offenses. So we continue to move forward. Here Uddhav is giving this solution. And he's very nicely stating. So this is where intelligence is required, and Uddhav being an intelligent disciple of Brihaspati, who is the spiritual master of demigods, he is giving this solution. What is his solution? It's an amazing solution. He knows Lord Krishna's heart. He wants to go to Indraprastha. He sees all the assembly members are ready to attack Awadh, Magad, the kingdom of Jarasandha. They want to fight with Jarasandha. So he gives a very simple solution. He says, just like Devashi Narad said, Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to perform Rajasuya Yajna. And as the messenger revealed that 20,000 kings are taking shelter of Lord Shri Krishna, so they have to be also taken care of. So both of these need to be met. So sometimes when we have two subject matters which appear to be in conflict, right? For example, sometimes people say, well, deity worship is more important, we should focus. Others say, book distribution is more important, we should focus on that. Then third party could say, town sankirtan is more important, we should focus on that. So different categories would come in. However, Srila Prabhupada gave such a program that everything can be very nicely adjusted. So he gave a very nice layout of the temple program, very nice layout of Sankirtan times when people can go out on Kirtan. And right there you can set up book distribution, on a table. So everything can be very nicely arranged if we follow the instructions of Acharyas, spiritual masters. So here Uddhav is saying that if we go to, Indraprastha, then Yudhishthira Maharaj, he, to be able to perform Rajasuya Yajna, he must win all directions, which means he should not get any opposition. Yet Jarasandha is there. So Jarasandha has to die so that Yudhishthira Maharaj can perform Rajasuya sacrifice without any impediment. Then, he says, at the same time, Jarasandha, once killed, those 20,000 kings would be freed as well, which are currently imprisoned by him. So killing of Jarasandha will provide the solution for both the situation. So he's giving the first step. Everyone is in agreement because that's very much what they are thinking as well. However, next level he is saying is, but Jarasandha has such a large military force, right? Earlier he had attacked Mathura with 18 Akshayanis every time. 17 times Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram with a small phalanx of soldiers, they destroyed those 18 Akshayanis. And so he has got such a large army, he kept coming up, building large army and kept coming up, fighting. So he said that will not be advisable because that will lead to death of so many of our soldiers. Very true. How can we achieve the results without having any negative effect? That would be the best solution. So he says, for this, it is very important to have one-on-one fight with Jarasandha, not with his army, but just with Jarasandha. Because our goal is not to destroy his army, our goal is to destroy Jarasandha, kill him. So, how can we do that? Even Jarasandha is a very big, great warrior. He has the strength of 10,000 elephants. So there is only another warrior. The other warrior who has 10,000 elephants worth of strength, of course, he's not ignoring Lord Krishna. He's saying other warrior, other than Lord Krishna, and among all other warriors, there is only one warrior who has strength of 10,000 elephants. Who is he? Bhim. So Bhimsen, the younger brother of Yudhishthira Maharaj, possesses the strength of 10,000 elephants. So if Bhim challenges Jarasandha, then this can be very nicely done. So everyone is very nicely, yes, this is great solution. So now, Bhim and Jarasandha, how will they fight without the phalanxes, without the army? So Yuddha gives a very nice solution. He says that Jarasandha is well-wisher of Brahmanas. He is very benevolently disposed towards Brahmanas. So he really, gives a lot of charity and he regards Brahmanas very highly and all that. So, looking at this characteristic, how can we use it to our advantage? So he looks at this characteristic and says, Bhim should go in the dress of a Brahman. Now Bhim, such a gigantic personality, going in the dress of a Brahman. Of course, Jarasandha, if he is very much devoted to Brahmans, that would be acceptable. And knowing that his very much devoted to Brahmins, he would, honor Bhim. And at that time, in charity, Bhim should ask for a one-on-one fight. Everyone is saying, wow, what an amazing solution. So Uddhav is providing such a wonderful solution to everyone, and everyone is saying, yes, let's move this. Now, to get Bhim to agree, again Lord Krishna and the party should go to Indraprastha. And also for Rajasuya, they have to go to Indraprastha. So he has met both the needs, while taking care of the need that Lord Krishna wants to see his devotees. Because Lord Krishna is more inclined to have the loving exchanges than to destroy the miscreants. So he wants to have this loving exchange. Uddhav is giving, so intelligence is very important. And Lord Krishna, one of his 64 qualities is Chatur. And he is always, passing on his benediction, his blessings to his devotees. So here, Uddhav is glorified while this knowledge is given to him by Lord Krishna himself. So, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nimitramatam bhavisavisache, you are but an instrument. And Uddhav when he is giving the solution, when he starts giving this solution, he actually glorifies Lord Shri Krishna. He says, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you are the one who has provided, you have blessed and saved all of us, including us, the residents of Dwarka. And just how you save Gajendra, and appearing as Lord Hari, you destroyed the enemy of Gajendra. Just how you saved Goddess of Lakshmi, Sita Mata, as Lord Ramchandra. Just how you saved your own parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, and all of us from the demons like Kansa and others. Similarly, you are the main doer. So you are the one who makes everything happen. You are the cause of all causes. And even though in this material world, we think that Lord Brahma is creating and Lord Rudra, Lord Shiva is annihilating, destroying everything, actually they are only acting as an instrument on your behalf. So they are just being used by you as an instrument, and as time, in the form of impersonal time, you are the one who is running the whole show. So that is important. One should understand that Lord Krishna is the one who is running the whole show. And we can only be an instrument. So we can only be an instrument in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. And that is for our benefit. Because as we engage in devotional service, we are constantly engaged directly in touch with Lord Shri Krishna. So in touch with fire, we become like fire. Srila Prabhupada said it again and again, that in touch of fire, we become like fire, and so we become godly. Cleanliness is next to godliness. And this is what needs to happen. Our mirror of our heart has so much dust from so many millions of births. But by engaging in devotional service, that dust gets removed. And we are able to see ourselves. Jivera Sarupoya Krishna Nityadas. We are the eternal servant of Lord Shri Krishna. And this process starts simply by raising our hands and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is the first lesson, where we should always seek to have devotee association, always seek to have someone means many other who are more elevated to be our mentors, coaches and so forth, yet at the same time take shelter of a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master, follow on the instructions of a spiritual master, and the association of devotee continue to progress. Hare Krishna. So Lord Krishna is showing by his own example. And the devotee, Uddhav, is identifying, using the intelligence. So when we are given an opportunity, we should use our intelligence. We should not surrender our intelligence. We should surrender ourselves completely. But we should use intelligence. So Srila Prabhupada always said that don't give up your intelligence. Use your intelligence to make progress. And he liked it very much when we would ask a question, why is this happening? How is this happening? When is this happening? So now we understand why Lord Krishna is traveling to Indraprastha. So when Lord Krishna is ready to travel Does he just say, okay, let's travel? No. He is showing by his attitude as a Kshatriya king, he is appearing like a Kshatriya, right? And he is first taking permission from Maharaj Ugrasen, his grandfather. Next he is taking permission from his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. Then he is also taking permission from Lord Baldev, Balram, Lord Sankarshan. And after taking proper permissions, he gathers some of his council members who will be traveling with him. He arranges it very nicely. So at this point, Lord Krishna blesses the messenger. But this blessing is also amazing. Why is Lord Krishna blessing the messenger? And what is the message of Lord Krishna? How he, instills, how does he give fearlessness in the heart of his devotee? This is being exemplified here. Lord Krishna says that, O fortunate one, he's blessing this messenger to that we will take care of Jarasandha, so you should pass on this message to the kings that they need not be fearful of him. So to be fearless of Jarasandha. So here, that messenger receives this message. He is feeling blessed and he is feeling fearlessness. But it's given in plural form because this blessing and the mood of fearlessness is to be passed on to the kings. So the messenger goes to the kings, the 20,000 kings who are in the prison of Jarasandha, and there he conveys this message. And amazing glories of the Lord, as Acharyas explains, Srila Swami explains, that when the kings, they come to know, they become fearless and they are looking forward for Lord's arrival. And so their minds are constantly thinking about Lord Shri Krishna. They are constantly meditating on him, on his lotus feet. So now, unknowingly, they are becoming yogis without even knowing. So this is a mercy. All they had to do is take that first step. When we take one step towards Krishna, then Lord Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. Our steps are puny steps, right? Maybe a meter, as much as possible. But Lord's steps, in one step he can cross over the earth. In the second step he can cross over the universe. And then you can imagine 10 steps how much he can travel. So this is a great benediction that we bow down at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Because everyone is going to bow down. Either we bow down with love and devotion, feeling the joy in serving Krishna with a heart filled with love and humility, or as time personified, we will have to bow down. Those who don't bow down with love and devotion, they will have to bow down at the time of death, at the last moment of their life. Because Lord Krishna says, time I am, devourer of all things. So in that mood we have to understand. And Lord reciprocates with our emotions. He is constantly reciprocating the emotions of his devotees. So here, Lord is giving them fearlessness, but unknowingly Lord is also giving them bhakti, giving them that prem, so that they are constantly thinking about Lord Krishna day and night. And they are making amazing progress because they are eager to see Lord Krishna. They are eagerly waiting for Lord Krishna to come. So that is the only thought. Think about, it's very interesting. Srila Prabhupada used to give many of these examples, that just like a boy and a girl, when they are into each other's company, the time seems to fly away. So similarly, when a devotee is constantly thinking about, of Lord Krishna, his name, form, activities, pastime, time just flies away. People don't come to know of time, how it is flying away. So in COVID-19, people who are getting tormented by time, because they are not finding how do we pass time, what do we do. There are amazing discourses are being offered in this particular channel in Facebook. And on YouTube, there are so many discourses are being loaded on a daily basis. So take advantage of these discourses and you will be meditating on Lord Shri Krishna, making spiritual progress and won't even know how the time is flying by. So what can be greater blessing? So we should look from that perspective. It's a great blessing to be able to engage in devotional service, to be able to serve Lord Krishna, and our life becomes blissful. We become fearless. Just like these kings, they are showing the fearlessness. Now,
after that, Devashi Narad, he is worshipped by Lord Shri Krishna, and he, remembering Lord Krishna, keeping him in his heart, he, goes back through the, skyways. So again, Akash Marg, it is stated. So he, he's the spaceman, he can travel freely without need of a suit and so forth. So he has spiritual body. So that's how Devashi Narad, he is very happy. He knows that Lord Krishna is coming to Indraprastha. He's going to meet the Pandavas, so I should be there, right? So he is always eager to see Lord Krishna and also pass on this message to the Pandavas. When Devashi Narad pass on this message to Pandavas, what's going to happen? Pandavas are going to think of Lord Krishna. And for them, in the separation, every moment would look like 12 years or more. So this is amazing aspect. When we are in the beginning stage, the time passes very fast. When we are at the advanced stage of a devotee, then every moment of separation seems to expand. So time is relative. Yes, in this material world, time is relative. In the spiritual world, it is absolute. Because everyone is in association of Lord Krishna and they are focusing on serving Lord Krishna every moment. So there is only present moment they are focusing on. There is no past moment, there is no future moment. Their focus 100% is at the present moment in their service, at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Krishna, the divine couple. So Pandavas are showing just, so it's given extensively in Purāṇa and other places, where when they hear Lord Krishna is coming, now for them it's expanding. They're eagerly waiting. So this is, how does that happen? Normally when we start a journey, it's very interesting, we observe this relativity. I would drive many times when we were living in Boston and DC. So between Boston and DC, I would drive overnight. So as I'm driving overnight, it's very interesting. This is a 8.5 to 10 hours journey. So those 8 hours would pass very easily. It is the last half an hour that would appear like the longest span. And so this shows us, and when we are taking train travel, you might have experienced this. If we are traveling with family and even alone, most of our journey has passed. But the moment we hear that we are 10 minutes away from our station, the railway station where we have to get down, we are eagerly waiting. And this time is just like expanding itself. And we are getting very anxious. When is it coming? When is it coming? I'm in the outskirts of the town. Okay, I'm seeing, now I'm progressing further, but it just seems to expand. And Einstein gave a very nice example in the similar lines as Srila Prabhupada gave, like the boy and girl, when they are talking, the time seems to pass very fast. But if we are seated on a hot stove, then it seems to pass very slow. Another relativity theory. Very simply, he explained this relativity theory. Einstein did that. So we have practical experience how time expands. So now we can even relate that for pure devotees. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Radharani, in Shishtashika prayers, he is identifying it. He is, sharing it, that every moment, every second expands to be as long as 12 years or more when he is in separation. And the 6 Goswamis in Vrindavan also show this mood. So again, we are not there yet. Yet at the same time, when we engage ourselves and we spontaneously think of Krishna 24 hours a day, then this separation becomes unbearable, just like that of gopis, who forgot doing anything. They stopped doing any activity because they were constantly in separation. Like the 6 Goswamis, they were wandering in Vrindavan and calling out, "Oh Radha, where are you? Oh Krishna, where are you?" So in that mood. So Lord Krishna, his caravan that goes from Dwarka to Indraprastha, that has been explained very nicely as well, as how this goes on. So Lord Krishna is not just going with his small council members. He is going with his 16,108 queens. He is going with his guards. He is going with a whole set of infantry, the soldiers, because it is very important that when we take on a travel, then we make sure that nobody attacks us. So he is, by his example, showing us. Of course, When Lord Krishna is there, nobody can attack. And if they attack, they don't have any escape. Yet he's showing us that when we take on a journey, we should take proper arrangements for the security of our members who are part of the travel party, who are part of the travel. So the travel party should always make arrangements so that they have safe journey. And another aspect of this caravan is, well, even though Lord Krishna, he is traveling on his chariot. Daruk is his charioteer. We talked about Shabya and Sugriva, Mahapushpa and Balahaka. So they are the horses. So the first one is parrot green, Sugriva is golden yellow, Mahapushpa is the monsoon cloud color. And then we have Balahaka, who is ash light grey color. And our flag on the chariot has the mark of Garuda, the carrier of Lord Krishna. And so he is traveling while his queens are coming in palanquins afterwards. So that way, it's a nice separation, yet at the same time, this beautiful arrangement looks like, moon shining among the stars. And that has also been the realization of the residents of Indraprastha. When the ladies see this caravan coming in, all Lord Krishna and his party coming in, they feel like Lord Krishna is like the moon, midst of all the stars. So this is where we learn that, when a journey is going on. Now, when you do the journey, imagine the kind of journey that you might have taken in your past. A journey when you are having very nice interactions, conversations, singing going on and so forth. It seems to pass so quickly. And then think of another journey where you are just paying attention to the road, you're looking at the direction, you're saying, okay, in 1 hour we will reach there, waiting for an hour to pass. Then looking at the next milestone, saying 2.5 hours from now, we'll reach there. Oh, did we miss the sign? No, okay, 1 more hour is still remaining. It becomes so lengthy. So, we should also understand that when we are on a journey, it is very important to fill it with varieties. And there are so many varieties. We can listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures. We can together do Harinam when we are traveling. We can just sing the glories. We can have someone read Bhagavad Gita. We can also have someone read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. People would be smiling, laughing, singing. And also, don't forget about prasadam. Distribute prasadam so everyone is enjoying prasadam. So in a nice, jubilant manner, everyone is traveling. So this is how the caravan was traveling with the various priests, the brahmanas. They were singing glories of Lord Shri Krishna. The queens were singing glories of Lord Shri Krishna. So everyone, all these residents who are coming, the council members are coming, they are all singing glories of Lord Shri Krishna's name, form, activities, pastimes. And in a very nice manner, this whole caravan reaches the outskirts of Indraprastha. Now, one of the important thing is, let's look at our life. Our life is a journey, right? Sometimes people become so conditioned that they start to make plan at different stages of their life, and being influenced by the material energy and being influenced by people who are influenced by material energy, who are conditioned. So when we were born, means our parents, they were not as enlightened. They wanted the best for us, right? So it is very important that yes, our parents always want the best for us. And when we were born, at that time, I'll just state my case, their focus was, he's a boy, he should become an engineer or a doctor. Once he becomes an engineer or a doctor, he should have a nice wife, he should have some kids, and he should have a very nice job, become very wealthy and live very nicely, serves us very nicely. And then as he grows old, he should have grandkids and so forth, and very nicely he should have a long life. Now if you just pay attention to those factors, that's like having a travel where you're just chasing the milestones. How interesting would it be? And then the education that was given was more to sustain the body. Well, at the time of birth, based on the karmas, whatever happiness and distress you're going to get, whatever you're going to attain, is already determined. Yet at the same time, we should look at how wonderful this journey is going to be. If you're taking a plane journey, then you're not just going to the airport, getting into the plane, looking at the time, getting to the end spot, and so forth. You have an opportunity to engage in devotional service, do some chanting. Maybe you're traveling with devotees too, you're conversing with devotees, asking for their welfare, what have they been reading, what are their new realizations, maybe doing kirtan, if it's allowed, and continue to make it a wonderful journey. So there's so much you can do. So sometimes when people die, this is normally like on the plaque, it's given such and such person, starting date of year of birth, dash the year of death. And this dash is the most important one. What happened between these two? What kind of journey did they have? That defines us. Not the year of birth or the year of departure. That's for the material body. But having this material body, what are we doing? That dash defines us. And that dash, the more joyful it is, more pleasurable it is, the more interesting it becomes. Then we have lived. Otherwise we have just survived. And what's the value of survival? Animals also survive. Yet at the same time, human beings have been given intelligence. And this intelligence, this high privilege comes with great responsibility. So we have a purpose in life. And this purpose is met when we have wonderful association. And in wonderful association, we are able to engage in happy, loving pastimes, right? We are passing our times with our very happy memories, engaging in devotional service, interacting with the devotees. That's why it is said the 6 kinds of loving exchanges. Why are they elaborated? And why is devotee association so much elaborated? Because devotee association enables us to make continuous progress. If you are an army man, you are with the other army men, so that you dress like them, you behave like them, you act like them, and you work like them. If you are a mountaineer, all your associates are mountaineers. So you focus on those kind of activities that a mountaineer engages in. If you are a bicyclist and going on long bicycle rides, then your friends are the other bicycle riders who are going on that journey. So similarly, if you are a devotee, why not be with a devotee? Because that's going to help you become a better devotee and stay focused on your path, on your spiritual journey. And yet at the same time, Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness has a perfect recreation program. All we have to do is, we have to chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We have to do Sankirtan, congregational chanting, where we get to sing and dance and laugh and smile and serve all in one mega program, congregation chanting. And then we get to read wonderful scriptures like the epics as Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Hear Lord's own words in Bhagavad Gita. See Lord's loving pastimes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Even in the current age, we see so many wonderful lessons we get from these pastimes. And so we continue to make progress in this recreation program. And let's not forget, we always get this wonderful prasadam, which has been honored to Lord Shri Krishna, so it has become non-different. So that's why it's also called prasadam seva. When we accept prasadam, that's also called prasadam seva. So we do it with that mode. And so this human birth is very important. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur identifies the importance of this human birth. Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Bhajahu Apavika Charanara Vindare Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Dulabha Manava Janama Sasange Dulabha Manava Janama Sasange Tarahu Bhavya Sundhure. So you can cross over this Bhava-sindhu, this ocean of nascence, this material world, which is like an ocean. But only in this human form, so it is dullabhamana, right? And with satsang, in the association of devotees, we can cross over this material ocean. So that has been exemplified. So here this caravan is even telling us how a journey should be taken, in what mood. It is not the duration of journey that matters. It is how you spend that journey that matters. So every day is a journey in our life. And that's why we want to start it by energizing ourselves. Just like you start a car on a long journey with full tank, we want to fill our tank. And this filling our tank is like the chanting on the holy beads. We are chanting japa, we want to complete our minimum 16 rounds. And if you are observing Ekadashi in the Eastern countries like India, then you want to do minimum of 25 rounds so that you get fully spiritually charged. And then you continue to engage in devotional service moving forward. And while you are carrying out this journey, instead of paying attention to the time, oh, it's 12 o'clock, oh, it's 3 o'clock, oh, it's 5 o'clock. Rather, prioritize and execute it out in devotional service. Let's do Kirtan for half an hour. Let's do Bhagavad Gita study for half an hour. Let's do, listen to a discourse on YouTube for another hour. Listen to another discourse at Facebook on another hour. Let's go to the temple and serve the deities for another 2 hours. So forth. You can make your plan. So again, that is a personal relationship we have with Lord Krishna. And we can continue to learn through practice, right? Through sadhana bhakti. We can, as practitioners, engage in devotional service so that one day we will come to the stage of spontaneously remembering Lord, constantly meditating on His lotus feet, His name, form, activities and pastime. So as they reached the precinct of Indraprastha, Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas, they were waiting eagerly, right? Because they were like, Lord Krishna is coming. Devashi Narad has informed us. So for them, every moment is like 12 years or more. And as Lord Krishna comes, Yudhishthira Maharaj with all his brothers and everyone, they are rushing out to greet Lord Krishna at the gates, at the city gates. And there Lord Shri Krishna, as soon as Yudhishthira Maharaj sees Lord Krishna, so Srila Prabhupada and Shukdev Goswami, he explains that is as if consciousness, those senses, Lord Krishna is like consciousness and the Pandavas are like senses. And Srila Prabhupada explains in Krishna book that without the consciousness, the senses are dull. Yet, when there is consciousness, all these senses come back to life. So that's how they are feeling that they have, come back to life. They were like dead bodies in the absence of Lord Krishna. But seeing Lord Krishna, they have come back to life. Yudhishthira Maharaj is older in age. So again, from the bodily perspective, in age than Lord Shri Krishna. So Lord Krishna, touches his feet. So that's why he's called Achyuta. He's carrying out his pastime so perfectly. And he's going down to Bhimsen also, who's older than him. Yet at the same time, Yudhishthira Maharaj is embracing Lord Shri Krishna. And tears are flowing. So he's showing those ecstatic symptoms. The standing of hair of his body, faltering voice. He is embracing Lord Krishna again and again. And similarly, Bhimsen, he is embracing Lord Krishna again and again. And Lord Krishna is feeling this. He is feeling this love. The oceans are overflooding of love. And they are so happy to see Lord Krishna. And so Lord Krishna, when he sees Arjun, being of same age, Lord Krishna embraces Arjun. And then he embraces him again as Nakul Sahadev come. They are also feeling the same emotions as Yudhishthira Maharaj, Bhimsen and Arjun. So Lord Krishna embraces each of them. And then, they being younger than Lord Krishna, they touch his feet, getting his blessing. Then Lord Krishna, he looks at the elder members. And he is paying obeisances to the elder members of the family. And so mostly men had come out on this particular occasion to greet Lord Krishna. So men would go out and they would, welcome the guests. So that is another way we see in Vedic culture. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is so much, in this separation mode. He forgets to worship Lord Krishna. He knows Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he had taken all the worship paraphernalia with him. But when he saw Lord Krishna, it was as if life has entered his very being. And when he embraces Lord Shri Krishna, any material contamination that was there immediately washes off. So this is a lesson where we hear that in touch of fire, we become like fire. So Shukdev Goswami is revealing this to Parikshit Maharaj, that when we are in touch with fire, we become like fire. Just like Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he is embracing Lord Shri Krishna, all his anarthas are washing off. Any material contamination is washing off. Similarly, when Dhruv Maharaj, he paid obeisances to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu touched his conch at the head, of Dhruv Maharaj. And all the contamination, any material contamination that Dhruv Maharaj had with the touch of the conch, all of it got washed off. And he realized that what he had been asking, a greater kingdom than his great-grandfather, is like pieces of glass. The true treasure is devotee association. So Dhruv Maharaj, when he is given the benediction to ask what you want, he asked for benediction that please give me the association of pure devotees and my spiritual master, Narad Muni. So sage Narad, he is an amazing personality who appears on these pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. In reality, we should be, praying to Devashi Narad more and more, because if it was not for Devashi Narad, we would not have even received Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It was Devashi Narad who went to Vyasadeva and encouraged him to write Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam when he was completely despondent. He was completely feeling vacant in his heart, even after having written the Vedas, even after having written the Purāṇas and so many other scriptures. He was feeling vacant. And at that time, Devashi Narad went and he made him realize that what is the true knowledge. And this is the commentary on Vedanta that Srila Vyasadeva writes, which is filled with the glories of Lord Krishna and his devotees. So when we glorify the devotees reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Lord Krishna is smiling. And when we are glorifying Lord Krishna, his devotees are smiling and they are happy. So we want to make everyone Lord Krishna and his devotees. So both of them, both the parties are happy. That makes us happy. Of course, our senses will come back to life. Just by engaging in reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, sharing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, talking about Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and of that, this 10th canto is Samam Bonam. So this is the core. This is the most important aspect of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So we should take time to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, study Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and understand the various lessons that have been exemplified. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj forgets about worship and how Lord is reciprocating with his devotees, the Pandavas. They are heart and soul of Lord Krishna. He's been bought away by the Pandavas, by their love. So this is what a devotee does. He can purchase God with one's love. So one can purchase God. So that is such a great benediction. It is so easy to love in this material world. Yet at the same time, we sometimes, being bewildered in darkness, choose wrong objects. We should be, when enlightened, when understanding the knowledge, we should start to realize it by practicing it in the beginning, by engaging in devotional service, so that we realize that we can even win over Lord Krishna, which has been exemplified by the Pandavas. So that's the third lesson, that Lord is constantly reciprocating, and we have an opportunity to not just come close to Lord Krishna, but also have loving exchanges with Lord Krishna. Now Lord Krishna and his party, they are moving through the city of Indraprastha. They are passing through Indraprastha to get to the palace where Kunti Devi and her daughter-in-laws are. Why did I say daughter-in-laws? Because this is a pastime that happens much later. Actually, there are a couple of pastimes that have happened, in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. They appear later. They have already happened earlier in time. One of the example is 86th chapter. Arjun kidnaps Subhadra. That particular event has already happened, and she is already his wife, and she and Draupadi, they are with Queen Kunti. So Lord Krishna, when he enters Queen Kunti, she gets up from the couch, and she immediately, even though Lord Krishna is her nephew, she also knows that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So she immediately embraces Lord Krishna because of her love as a devotee. And Draupadi and Subhadra, they pay obeisances to Lord Krishna. So here it is exemplified that a sister is paying obeisances to Subhadra because she has another position as wife of Arjun. And Arjun is cousin and friend of Lord Krishna. From that particular relationship also she is paying obeisances. And at that time Lord Krishna is nicely worshipped and taken care of. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj is making arrangement for the living, for the staying in various palaces for all the associates of Lord Krishna, all of his queens. And how many queens does he have? 16,108. So he is making arrangement, elaborate arrangement. And it has been identified, Shukdev Goswami is narrating that every day there were different level of constant interactions, loving exchanges, they were taking place. So Lord Krishna stayed with his party, his 16,108 queens, with his military phalanx and his council members and advisors. Uddhav was there, Satyaki was there, and so many others. For many months he stayed at Indraprastha. And Lord Krishna during this time performed many amazing pastimes. He would go out on arcade, to the forest with Arjun. Arcade is, Kshatriyas, they would go out in the forest and they would kill animals so that they can be sacrificed in fire. So that's first purpose. Second purpose was that, the ferocious animals would be killed so that they don't disturb the sages and the brahmanas who are staying in the forest, because forest has the mode of goodness prevalent in that environment, while animal life is in a mode of ignorance, yet at the same time, so that these sages who are in the mode of goodness in that sattvic environment do not get disturbed. So that's why. And another example where this is given is in Ramayana. In Ramayana, Vishwamitra comes to Dashrath and he says, I would like to have your two sons, Ram and Lakshman, because all these demons, Taraka and her son and so forth, all of the demons, they are destroying our sacrificial arena. They are polluting it. So that's what demons do. That's what Rakshasas do. They're throwing all kind of fetus, urine and meat and abominable things, corrupting the whole arena ground, the sacrificial arena. So Lord Ram and Lord Lakshman, they go with Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra becomes their instructing guru as well. He teaches them how to fight. So this is where it is shown that they become expert fighters under the guidance. So Lord is exemplifying that he accepts spiritual master, Diksha Guru. He accepts instructing masters, Shiksha Gurus and so forth. And you can have only one Diksha Guru, you can have many Shiksha Gurus. So that has also been identified in the Shastras. So here, Lord Krishna was spending this time. So there is one pastime that we had actually covered earlier, which actually happened earlier, is also being identified by Shukdev Goswami. He's repeating it because of the ecstasy this brings in. That as Lord Krishna would go out on chariot, for arcade, once it just so happened that Agni Dev. So again, by saying once it just so happened, it was not in this pastime, but it did happen once when they had gone out to the forest. And Agni Dev. So as Lord Krishna and Arjun, they were sitting at the bank of Yamuna in a forest area. So at that time, they see this great personality. He's got this golden reddish hair, coming up with great demigod-like, golden body, effulgent, wearing red clothes. He's approaching towards them. And as soon as he comes to Lord Krishna, he pays obeisances and prays to Lord Krishna for his shelter. So Lord Krishna, understanding who this personality is. Who is this personality? If you know, please identify. So this is Khandava forest pastime, where this personality is approaching Lord Krishna to get a blessing. He has an upset stomach and he wants his indigestion to be satisfied. So please put in comments, who is this personality who has approached Lord Krishna when Lord Krishna has come to forest with Arjun on an arcade. So here, this personality, he's singing to Lord Krishna, he's asking that please help me consume this Khandava forest, because they are herbs, digestive herbs. Once I consume it, then my digestion issue will go away, my indigestion issue will go away. So he's feeling indigestion in his stomach. I'll give you a hint. This indigestion is also happening because of various oblations that have been given during sacrifices. So you have to also think of it. What are the different oblations given to whom, and who's getting upset stomach? So a lot of sacrifices were being performed. Yudhishthira Maharaj was getting ready for Rajasuya Yajna and various sacrifices, and to make his kingdom Indraprastha very opulent. So this happened much earlier, but this is a pastime, has been discussed by Shukadeva Goswami in this chapter. And Padma Purāṇa is happening much earlier because their chronological order is is focused on. So at that time, Krishna asks, well, you can easily devour the whole forest. But he is identifying, I cannot, because in this forest there is a serpent who lives, Takshak. And this serpent, the bird-faced serpent, he is a good friend, a very close friend of Indradev. Indradev is the god of the demigods, king of the demigods. So every time I try to burn this forest, Indradev rain on this forest. So all the fire is immediately extinguished. So I'm not able to do that. Only if you could help. So at that time, Lord Krishna incites Arjuna. So this is where, who's this personality? This is none other than Agni Dev, the fire god. So fire god, for this task, he gives a chariot. So this chariot with 4 white horses, Shvetavarna, Ashwa. So those 4 white horses are yoking and pulling this chariot. And this chariot has a flag that does not have an emblem yet. And fire god gives him, so again they perform a worship of Lord Varun Dev, because Yamuna is daughter of Varun Dev. So again, as they worship Varun Dev, as Arjuna worships Varun Dev with Agni Dev, Varun Dev gives him this bow. This is the Gandiva bow Arjuna receives. And having this bow on the chariot, Lord Krishna becomes his Sarathi. So that's where Lord Krishna becomes Parth Sarathi for the first time. Kurukshetra was the second time Lord Krishna became Parth Sarathi. So here Lord Krishna, he is the charioteer. And Arjuna creates a net of his arrows on top of this Khandava forest. And Agnidev starts devouring the Khandava forest. It just so happened that Indradev, he comes and he starts showering. But not a drop of rain is able to penetrate through this layer. So Indradev starts using his thunderbolt, but he is being challenged by Arjuna. And Lord Krishna is the charioteer, and Indradev is surprised because Arjuna is his seminal son. Somebody could say, Indradev just made a son fight with his father. But actually, he is still Pandava, son of Pandu. Yet at the same time, from seminal perspective, we are looking at, and somebody materialists do argue that Indradev and Krishna, they are constantly causing fight between the family members. That is not the case. There is a specific purpose. The only reason Indradev is trying to avoid the forest from getting burned is because that's where his friend lives. So he's trying to protect his friend. While Agni Dev needs the herbs, and Lord Krishna, he knows that Takshak is not there. Yet at the same time, Mayadhanav is there. He is caught in this fire that's devouring the whole forest. So at that time, Lord Krishna, by his mystic potency, by his internal potency, being merciful to Mayadhanav, he saves, protects Mayadhanav from this fire. And Arjuna is able to withhold Indradev. And knowing later on that Indradev realizes that Takshak is not there, and Arjuna fought so valiantly, because he was also given to Tudir, the Tarkash, where the arrows are kept. And these are filled with divine arrows. So Arjuna fought so valiantly, so Indradev is also very happy. So this is part of Veeraras, right? Kshatriyas would enjoy the Veeraras because they would fight with each other and try to see who is better and how well the other person is fighting and so forth. So he further gets blessings from Indradev, and Agnidev is satisfied. So Agnidev gives the chariot along with the horses and everything, and the bow, Gandhi stays with Arjuna, and he has these divine arrows, weapons. All the divine weapons are with Arjuna. So this is where Krishna is preparing Arjuna for this Kurukshetra war early on. Now Mayadanav comes and he is paying obeisances to Lord Krishna for having saved him. So at that time Lord Krishna says that, instead of me, you should try to satisfy my devotee. So this is another mood of Lord Krishna. He is so benevolent, he is such a well-wisher that instead of asking for something, to accepting something, he wants his devotee to be glorified and to receive the benediction. So Mayadanav asks Arjun, what should I do? So Arjun, remembering that whole of Indraprastha is made by Vishwakarma, he asks Mayadanav to build this assembly hall. And this assembly hall has all the latest, means again at that time, the scientific arrangements, all kind of delusions are there, which is where we see how the seed for the Kurukshetra war are being sown. So that is there in this particular assembly hall. And it's an amazing assembly hall, and today's technology doesn't even come close to it. So this is wonderful pastime where Lord Krishna is saying how he is having this loving exchange with his devotees, and how we can come close to Krishna. Coming close to Krishna reminds me of an amazing story that can be looked at various aspects. We have Srila Prabhupada used to talk about this story about a yogi's wager, it was called. But we can look at the same story from different perspective, and it has many amazing hidden messages that we can understand why sometimes people, they could be practicing Krishna consciousness for 30, 40, 50 years, but they're not making any progress. But someone who could be very new could be making amazingly progress. Why is that? So this is what has been explained. So this secret is being revealed in this story, because the same story we have heard again and again. Sometimes we hear it for a mode of enjoyment. However, we should understand that what are the other perspective. So the yogi's wager story is that once this rich man, he is sitting with his friend and his servant, and at that time his friend shares that there is this yogi, he is ready to stand in the cold winter night in Yamuna up to the neck all night, and he is asking for anyone to place a wager that he would do this overnight. So next day, if he is able to do this successfully, then he should receive some wager for having done this. So the old man says, okay, I'm ready to do this. So he goes and meets this old man, and he says, okay, if you are able to stand overnight in the waters, then you will receive the wager from me. Very nicely. So the man is standing all night. And then next morning, when the merchant comes with his friend and a servant, then he sees that this yogi was standing all night in waters, and he has successfully completed the challenge, the activity. So here, he is about to give wager, but his friend says, wait a minute. You see that lamp, glowing on the top of the temple? Maybe this old man, his yogic power, he is using it to derive heat from that lamp. And so the rich man uses it as an excuse that all night this lamp on top of the temple was glowing. So you were, with your yogi power, you are absorbing the light, so you have not satisfied the condition. And he returns back without giving him the wager. So at that time, the servant is really disappointed by his master, who did not give the wager to that old yogi. So, when they come back, the rich man and his friend, they are feeling hungry, so the rich man asks him to cook the meal. So the servant goes in the kitchen and is cooking the meal. Couple of hours have passed. And the old man says, well, when is it coming? The servant says, it's coming. And 2 more hours have passed. So a long time has passed, and the rich man is thinking, why is it taking so long? So he goes into the kitchen. What does he see? He sees that servant has put 3 sticks, and has put a pot at a great height, and there's a small fire at the bottom, very small fire. So he's saying, what is this? It will never heat up the pot. It's like, if that lamp can heat up the body of that old man, the yogi, then this should definitely be able to heat up the pot. So this is where, if Krishna is like fire, if he's like sun, a globe of fire, then if you are very far away from him, if you are staying in darkness, then of course we will never feel the warmth and the light, the knowledge that he is constantly imparting. Just like light is constantly emitting from sun, the heat is constantly emitting from sun, We cannot experience the farther we are from sun. Right? That's why we experience the summer season, winter season. Why? Because in winter season we become farther than sun. So that is practical experience that you and I have. That when we are farther than sun, we experience cold. When we are closer to sun, we experience warmth. So here the rich man understands the purport, the meaning this servant is trying to teach him. So he goes and pays the wager to the old man. But when we look at this story, we understand that when we want to feel the heat, when we want to feel the light, then we have to come close to Krishna. How do you come close to Krishna? It starts simply by raising your hands and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And as practitioners, as sadhakas, we should engage in devotional service. We should read about Bhagavad Gita, we should read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. At least hear so many wonderful discourses that are there on YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook and so forth. So this is where Lord Krishna is even benefiting his devotee, Arjun, by allowing him to have this wonderful assembly hall. And later on, this assembly hall is what is being glorified, and that's where the reason of Rajasuya Yajna emerges from. So the seed that Yudhishthira Maharaj should perform Rajasuya Yajna emerges from there, and that's when this decision is taken, that's when Devashi Narad goes to Dwarka and shares that message in the assembly hall. And then Lord Krishna comes. So again, you have to understand the things are arranged in different orders, and they have been very nicely laid out in a manner so that we focus on the lessons, on the study, so that we can start practicing some of these principles. So this is where this chapter ends, and we will be doing some Harinam today. There was a request by devotees. For Harinam, so that we can immerse ourselves in the glories of Sheshi Radha Krishna.
mantra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki Janant Kori Vaishnavrind ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.